Well, hey y'all, it's Brian SLC Farms. Well, today me and Calvin are out at our new Norwood HD36v2 sawmill. So I've had this mill now about a month. I didn't video anything of putting it together or anything like that. And I really hadn't been making any videos, guys. We've been working in the mountains, and then stuff happened. If you've seen our update video, you can go back and watch it if you hadn't, and kind of let you know. But this is our it's a 20-foot mill. I can mill 16-foot, 6-inch long logs up to 36-inch diameter. I got a pretty crooked maple sitting up on there right now. We're gonna have to get it oriented or whatnot, but I'm in the sawmilling business. I'm still selling hay, still making hay. It's just winter time. Me and a buddy kind of went in together on this mill and got it. And I have got quite the assortment of wood. So back here we've got yellow pine, white pine, red oak, white oak, cherry, maple. I got a big old poplar right there, 16-foot, 38-inch in diameter. Down here, I'll go ahead and show you all real quick. We have got a big old pile of hickory, got a few walnuts. So all that down there minus the two end logs are hickory. I got two nice black walnuts there. Over here, this is a customer order that they've brought us. This is what we're working on now. They brought us a bunch of pine, maple, and poplar. And then we got another customer order that's got some red oak and white oak. So all this is stuff that we just got brought to be milled. I've been milling a little bit for myself, but I'm not making lumber just to make lumber. We're trying to sell by the order or mill other people's logs. But we got some nice poplars in there. Then in here we got some white oak and some red oak. Pretty good sizable stack of logs there. Everything's bucked down, ready to go on the mill. And we're trying to get these last. There's got one crooked maple there. We're gonna cut that in half and saw it in two ways, so that way we don't lose so much with that crook in it. Just make some shorter boards. But we are out here today, like I say, going to saw some more lumber. So I sawed this yesterday. It's a 16-foot pine. He wanted it in 2x4s and 1x4s. I got some 8-foot pine right there. Right here's some maple, 12-foot. I'll slide this over. Some real pretty wood right there. Real pretty. I think this next maple log's gonna make some nice wood too. We're gonna cut it in 4/4, 10-inch wide planks. 4/4 is 1 inch. And yeah, that's where we're at. We're gonna get this log oriented on the mill and go from there. All right, y'all. Well, for some reason, my microphone decided to go ape crap on me. And I have lost all the sound to all the footage of this first video of the new sawmill. So right now, I was just explaining to Calvin how we need to orient this log to be able to get the most wood or product out of it, maximize our usage. I'm trying to tell him there, hey, don't use your hands, use some leverage. We got two PVs there to be able to get this log rolled around. So really enjoying the sawmill. Been running it now about a month or so. Got a couple thousand board feed through it. It's been a great mill. I'm going to try to narrate as much as I can through this video. I may just speed some of it up and then come back in and out. It just depends. I'm going to try to remember what I was saying because I really was explaining what I do. But otherwise, if you've got any questions about this sawmill or what we're doing, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I know it's been a while since we've been making videos, but sure appreciate y'all following along and joining in our new venture here with the sawmill. So far, it seems to be pretty good. Orders are coming in well. After we get done with this custom order, We've got a few hundred 1x4s to make for another customer. We've got some white oak to saw, some 8x8 beams for another customer. Then we've got to go pick up a tree for a person. That's one of the services we're going to be able to offer. So we'll take our machinery, go out, cut their logs out of the tree for them, talk to them about what they can get out of their wood, bring it back, mill it up, and then deliver their wood back to them. So that way, the people that can't or don't have a way to move and haul their own trees, but still would like the wood out of them, we can offer some service there that most people don't. A lot of people say, well, Brian, make your mill portable. Well, either way, you've got to haul the mill and equipment and all that to that person's place to get the logs on the mill and everything moved around. I'd rather just go pick up their wood, do it here undercover when I want at the farm. So right now we're putting a toe board at the end of the log. The log has a crook to it, and this end is hanging way down below the bunk. And so I'm showing Calvin there, this is his first time really doing this, that we're going to raise that log up to try to get the piff, which is the middle of the log, up to the where it'll maximize, where we'll be have that log centered up. So right there, you can order, I'm showing you how much lower that log is. You can order with this mill toe boards, either manual or hydraulic. They have rollers on them. I just went the cheap route. I went to Vivor, ordered this, well, it was on Amazon, but it's a ATV jack, about $40. Cut me a couple of 2x6s to go through there. Turn that little screw. I could even put a socket wrench on it or impact, whatever you want to do there. Jack that thing up to where you want to go. You're only going to use it for 1 or 2 cuts. And then, bam, you're ready to go. So Calvin's going to get that put into place. And we're going to get to cutting on this log here in just a minute. And I'm just yapping, saying how slow Calvin is and he should speed up, use more muscle, put your back into it. He says he's going to punch me in the face if I talk to him like that again. No, I'm just kidding there. All right, we got the log all set up. Hank approves. So we're going to get it dogged down there where it won't roll or move on us. He's learning how to use those good there. Calvin's getting better every day with it. It's nice on this bigger timber. Small timber, it's easy to cut by yourself. But until I get hydraulics on this mill, it's nice having somebody like Calvin around to help me get everything. So you can see there, the log looks a lot more level now. It's not dipping down. And we're ready to go cut. All right, so while Calvin's getting that locked down, I'm going to show you all a little bit of the wood we've cut. That is some older pine right there. It's 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s. That pine was actually dry enough, we didn't even need to sticker it. I've got some 16-foot poplar that I'm making fence boards out of, some leftover white oak from an order, some red oak down there in the back, 8-footers, and then 2x4s and 1x4s in pine, and then that cherry there is something a gentleman wants to make a gun stock with. So right over there, we got some stickers. All this conveyor here, marketplace score, like $4 a conveyor. I think I got 20-something of them there. Eventually, we're going to make a conveyor so that way we can just roll the lumber over there to sticker and stack it. But let's get cut. All right, so we got to wind up the mill here, get her cranked up over the log. Once I do that, I'm going to have to tension the blade. This pretty simple manual tension system there. Oh, knocked over my log peavy there. Got to have those just right where I keep them. So the mill, they don't get in the way of the mill. But going to lower her back down here. Realize the blade is not tight here in just a second. Going to fire up the motor, let it warm up a little bit. So that there is an 18 horsepower Vanguard. We have not had any troubles with it so far. I haven't found a log it couldn't mill. Just turn this little T-handle here. I usually give it about 4.5, 5 turns. There's a little area you can see a spring and a washer. And when I get those centered up, I feel that's tight enough. Gonna turn on our water, and we're ready to make our first cut and lob the top of this log off here. So with a crooked log, it's hard to make straight lumber. You just lose a lot, especially making your cant, just because you're trying to get, something straight and square. But we do a pretty good job with this one. We end up getting a fair amount of lumber out of it, considering. So, all right, I'm talking to Calvin, kind of telling him about the mill, about the speed I'm cutting, that I probably should have went down a little bit deeper than what I did there. But this mill here, so far, I am really, really pleased with it. Right now, I believe on there I am running a 7-degree blade. I end up switching to a 10 at some point. The 10-degree does a little better in the softwood. The 7-degree does better in the hardwoods. So almost to the end there, and I am bumping something. I got something on the other side, or... Oh, there we go. It was just my blade guard. Needed to pull that back a little bit. So I am, again, man, it sucks we lost the audio. I actually had pretty good audio. We had the mics on and everything. But we are really enjoying the meal here at the farm. I usually go through wintertime depression. Has not happened this year at all. It has kept me busy. We really, really do enjoy the sawing lumber. It's something about turning round objects into square things and then building something with it that just really will please you. So got a little rotten spot there in the log there. Not going to hurt a thing. It'll give some figure in the wood or some character to it for what this gentleman's using for. It doesn't go very deep, thank goodness. That was probably from a limb or something. I'm going to scrape that off, looking at the pretty grain in the log. This actually is a silver maple. It was really pretty when we got done with it, sawing it all up into boards. We did 3 of these silver maples for the guy, I believe. I guess it was the whole tree that we ended up doing. All right, next, got a little action here with a little cutting action. All right, so I was just double checking my measurement there with the tape measure. I always kind of like to every now and again. That way I'm making sure I'm getting good accurate cuts from my log scale, especially with me just starting this. I want to make sure that my customers are getting exactly what they ask for. As you can see there, my scale might have been a little bit off. I'm trying to set it up for 4/4. I think here in the next clip, I'll show y'all how we do set this up to be able to cut this log into 1-inch boards. But right now, I'm just going to take a 1-inch flitch off the top before we roll this to get it widened out a little bit. And we're just going to watch the saw do some work here for a second. I'll shut up. As you can see, this thing is cutting nice, square, true lines. I am really pleased. Right now we're running the ceramic guides. We have just recently ordered and upgraded to a 4-axis roller guide kit, which is supposed to do even better. But we really don't have any issues out of this mill at all. Try to keep a nice, good blade on there all the time. All right. Okay, so me and Calvin got that flitch pulled off, set on the skid steer there, got the log flipped. Wasn't going to bore y'all with that part. We just manually flip it by hand with a couple of log peavies there. I've got some shots of that coming up at some point here. Now I'm getting this reset for our second cut. So what I do is I roll my log 180 degrees. I'll make my top and bottom cut. Then I'll roll it 90 degrees and work my way down into a cant. Taking a couple measurements here, see what I'm going to look like on each end when I cut some off. We're going to get the mill adjusted, and here we go. We're going to take the next flitch off. All right, we're starting to get her squared up now. We got its two sides flitched off, ready to go. We're gonna get this log flipped up right here. And then all we gotta do is edge off two more sides. We'll have us a cant, and we can start making boards. Customer here, he's wanting 1x10s made out of this this here silver maple. Really, it'd be 4/4 by 10 inch wide. And this log here, I believe, was about 10 foot long. I'm trying to see, taking a few measurements, making sure still what we can get out of it board width wise. There's a lot to that. When you don't have nice, perfect, straight logs, it's a lot to it to make sure you can get what you need or what the customer is looking for out of the log without losing too much. So we've got her there up on its end now. I do believe we end up jacking up the one end with the toe board again to kind of level it out. So we're going to get that done, and we'll finish getting this log cut up. Again, I really do hate losing all the audio from this. It's this voiceover is not going to do the whole video itself justice. But me and Calvin, we're going to get this log locked down, squared up good, and we'll see y'all back in a minute. All right, as y'all can see, we got 3 sides squared up now. Every time I take what I call a flitch or a board off, so you got your outer cuts, which are going to be scrap material. They'll be good to split for firewood, stuff like that. We'll advertise them for free for somebody to come pick up, or like I say, we'll split them up for firewood. But now we'll get our, once we get those outer pieces off, we'll take a flitch off, and those are 1-inch planks, and I will take and edge those down later after we get the log milled. So here, we're trying to make sure that that log is sitting on at least 3 bunks. That way it stays nice and square and true. Y'all saw me a minute ago checking with the square before to make sure that my log is squared up on there. We want good rectangled and squared boards. So now we're getting down to the easy part. We're going to go over. We're going to take this top couple boards off here. But first, let's take a look at this log. It is going to have some pretty color throughout. We got to get that top off a pretty good bit. We're going to lose a big chunk right there. But it is going to be a good looking piece of lumber for the customer when we get done with it. So right now I'm just kind of showing y'all everything. Calvin's going to take over the camera for us and try to get some good shots here. So I wish y'all could hear the mill in action, but instead I guess I'll put a little bit of music in the background. So I'm just kind of taking a couple of quick measurements, making sure I'm where I want to be. You can always cut more, but you can't put it back once you cut it off. It's one good thing to remember. right, I was just showing y'all a little bit of the grain. So now I'm talking a little bit about the mill, the lumber scale, and how I'm going to set this scale up for 4/4. So I've got the scale for 8/4, 4/4, 3/4, 9/4. Just depends on what we're milling. At this time, we're going to mill 4/4 boards, which is 1 inch. And it makes it where I can just make quick adjustments real fast, up and back, turn on my water there. And y'all are about to see how quickly we can mill this can out right here into 1 inch boards. We've got it 10 inches across, and here we go. We're going to make a bunch of wood real quick like. All right, y'all. What'd y'all think of those little tunes? I figured it's better than silence, and since we can't hear the motor run and the blades cutting and me talking in normal, well, that's what we get. So we have cut our log down here a good little bit. I'm gonna stick y'all back up on top of the skid loader. That way we can get all these boards offloaded. So I can only go, I only got about eight inches of gullet there between the band and the top of the mill. So I can take off about 8 boards before I've got to offload those and then keep working the rest of my cant down. So it doesn't take just but a second. We just stick them over here on the skid steer real quick. Get those offloaded. I'll mill the rest of my cant down. Oh, we about lost it. I need to widen my forks out there. I think I do that on the next log. I had them set up for pallets. I am glad I have machinery around here. I tell you, if you didn't have skid steers and tractors running a manual mill like this on big logs, you'd be hard pressed to do it. Like I said, we eventually hope to add hydraulics, power feed, power up and down to this mill. But you got to start somewhere, and Rome wasn't built overnight, and I am very pleased to have what I have. It does an awesome job, and the work itself is very, very enjoyable. It really is. Got a little bit of a hollow spot there, but look at that grain. That is some nice looking wood there. Oh, got a little nick there or something. Another little hollow spot. Tree had some bad spots in it. But again, these will make some nice paneling or stair treads. I'm sure he'll use them for something in a custom home. So good look at the grain there. We're going to get the rest of this log milled up now. All right, we're gonna take these last 3 boards off right here, and then we're gonna flip this last piece of can over, and I'm gonna make 2 more or 1 more 1-inch board out of it, and then we'll just have a little thin piece come off. But I'd rather flip it because there's, I think, it's still a little bit of wane on the other side. Wane's gonna be your bark, and we can just get a better board out of it if we flip it over and take that nastiness off. Like I say, we'll get one more 1-inch board here. And I think we ended up with 10 or 11 1x10s. And then I've got 3 or 4 pieces that I need to edge off. So I ended up with about 14, I believe, 1x10s out of this whole log. It took about 45 minutes in total, 50 minutes. And that was with filming and everything to mill down this one silver maple log. So getting this last cut set up here. Calvin's going to grab us, give a little bit of film action for us on how thin we can go. So 1 inch is the smallest you can go, you know, lowest to the bunks on this. I'm just going to double check real quick, make sure we're at 1 inch, like where we are, and we'll cut this on off. And that's going to be about a wrap for this video. I appreciate everybody that has held on this long. It's about a 40-minute video or so. No, we hadn't posted in a while, but yeah, keep praying for us. We're doing good here on the farm. If anybody needs any lumber, hay, or grass-finished beef, be sure to give SLC Farms a call. We'd be happy to help. And we do appreciate you watching. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. And we will see you guys on the next video. Hopefully we'll have sound to it and I won't have to do this voiceover stuff. So we'll see y'all on the next one.